Okay. Okay. Oh, fucking K. Okay. You wanna know why it's taking me so long to do another one of these fucking videos about Trump being a fucking fascist piece of fucking shit and why I hate this motherfucker and always will hate this motherfucker? Okay. What idiot approves of an $80 billion increase to our military? So let me get this straight. So we don't have enough money to pay for government funded college, free college, or universal health care. People say, well, cumulatively, free health care, universal health care, would cost $45 billion. Okay, so $80 billion, we got $80 billion to go send more people to fucking get killed, right? More poor people to get shot. Okay, but we don't have the money to cover health care. I smell bullshit. And then this motherfucker's UN speech, America first. Donald, what the fuck does America first mean? Now, I will agree with him on one thing. The UN does have a lot of bureaucratic bullshit. I will say that. Great example of UN bullshit getting in the way of things. The genocide in Rwanda. Probably the genocide in Darfur. You could make the case for that, but that's not the case he was making. Then, he has the gall to say, we will obliterate North Korea. We're going to destroy a whole country.
Now North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles threatens the entire world with unthinkable loss of human life. It is an outrage that some nations would not only trade with such a regime, but would arm, supply, and financially support a country that imperils the world with nuclear conflict. No nation on earth has an interest in seeing this band of criminals arm itself with nuclear weapons and missiles. The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations is all about. That's what the United Nations is for. Let's see how they do. It is time for North Korea to realize that the denuclearization is its only acceptable future. The United Nations Security Council recently held 2 unanimous 15-0 votes adopting hard-hitting resolutions against North Korea, and I want to thank China and Russia for joining the vote to impose sanctions along with all of the other members of the Security Council. Thank you to all involved, but we must do much more. It is time for all nations to work together to isolate the Kim regime until it ceases its hostile behavior.
And we're going to put more sanctions on North Korea. You do realize that putting sanctions on a country doesn't hurt the elite or the powerful in that country. It hurts the poor and the desperate within that goddamn country. The only people who are going to be affected by your motherfucking sanctions, Donald, are the poorest of the poor and the desperate of the desperate in North fucking Korea. You idiot! And on top of that, like, okay. This motherfucker, it's so hard for me to just focus on one stupid thing this motherfucker's done, because how does one quantify and sum up the stupid bullshit that this idiot is doing? And then it's just like little shit he does, like, okay, the Irma and Harvey thing, right? Well, what are you complaining about that for? Okay. Okay, Donald, okay, you want to know? So Donald Trump pulled back Obama regulations that required buildings to be 2 to 3 feet higher in case of natural disasters like flooding. This would be great to implement for, say, a situation like Irma or Harvey. But because he's such a climate denying idiot, which I don't know how the fuck you can deny climate change, because climate change naturally happens. Here's the issue though. The problem with climate change today is how rapidly it is happening. Shit that we are experiencing should be taking place thousands, and I mean thousands of years from now. So the fact that this motherfucker, oh God, I'm gonna have an aneurysm from talking about this prick. I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm. And then the most recent thing, so he repeats the Rocket Man Kim Jong-un comment, because that's gonna help. Yeah, always great to piss off a leader who's got nuclear fucking weapons, who can destroy Seoul, who can destroy Singapore. Shit ton of other damage. Shit ton of damage that guy could do. Even in the 90s, when you were talking about North Korea, you know, at least then in the 90s, you were talking about negotiating. But even then, when you were somewhat smart, you still had no idea what you were talking about.
First, I'd negotiate. I would negotiate like crazy, and I'd make sure that we tried to get the best deal possible. But look, Tim, if a man walks up to you on a street in Washington, because this doesn't happen, of course, in New York, but if a man walks up and puts a gun to your head and says, give me your money, wouldn't you rather know where he's coming from before he had the gun in his hand? And these people, in 3 or 4 years, are going to be having nuclear weapons. They're going to have those weapons pointed all over the world, and specifically at the United States. And wouldn't you be better off solving this really potentially unbelievable, and the biggest problem, I mean, we can talk about the economy, we can talk about Social Security. The biggest problem this world has is nuclear proliferation. And we have a country out there in North Korea, which is sort of wacko, which is not a bunch of dummies, and they are going out and they are developing nuclear weapons. And they're not doing it because they're having fun doing it. They're doing it for a reason. And wouldn't it be good to sit down and really negotiate something, and ideally negotiate? Now, if that negotiation doesn't work, you better solve the problem now than solve it later.
The former general of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula.
I'm not talking about us using nuclear weapons. I'm saying that they have areas where they're developing missiles.
No, but taking out their nuclear
you know that
potential
this country
would create
Tim,
a fallout.
And then you keep egging on this schmuck. Countries like North Korea have nuclear weapons as deterrents from us invading them. Japan doesn't want to go to war with North Korea. South Korea doesn't want to go to war with Korea. Russia doesn't want to go to war with North Korea. Hell, if your buddy Vladimir Putin says, hey Donald, tone it back a little bit, maybe you should listen to him. If you admire his leadership, now yes, I despise Vladimir Putin. He's a piece of shit. But if you're allies with someone and your ally says, hey, don't go to war with this country, there might be a good reason for it. So, okay, let me get this straight. So, on top of us being at war with 8 other fucking countries, you want to add a 9th one to that. Possibly a 10th one with Iran and North Korea. The Iran deal, it was one of the many great things Obama did. And of course, because Donald Trump just hates Obama, because he made fun of him during one White House Correspondents' Dinner, I can't believe how vain and petty this motherfucker is. You know, it's funny. There was an article in The Hill that says Donald Trump wants to meet people if they donate money to his campaign. I was so tempted just to sign myself up to that fucking dinner thing just to give this motherfucker a piece of my mind in the most calm and respectable way that I could manage. Because let me tell you, calling him a fascist motherfucker if I was in his presence wouldn't solve shit. But if I actually got him to meet him, I would tell him my concerns. Would he listen to them? Probably not, because fucking buffoon. And I'm building up to this part. I'm building up to this shit. So, on top of repeating the Rocket Man comment at a rally.
Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago. Little Rocket Man, we're going to do it because we really have no choice.
He basically insulted Colin Kaepernick for kneeling during the fucking Pledge of Allegiance. Like, oh, you disrespected a flag, a fucking flag, a symbol. Oh, fuck you, you should be fired.
And everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired! He's going to say, that guy that disrespects our flag, he's fired.
Wow, Donald, you certainly are a nationalist piece of shit, ain't ya? Who's a little nationalist? Who's a little nationalist? The President of the United States is a nationalist. You know, there's a difference between patriotism and nationalism. Patriotism is when you are willing to question what your country is doing. It is when you are willing to kneel in protest. It is practicing your right to peacefully and non-violently protest. So, do you want Colin Kaepernick to riot and cause a lot of property damage? No, I guess not. So, kneeling during the national anthem ain't that fucking bad, is it, Donald? Is it, Donald? It's a form of protest. You don't like the form of protest? Fuck you! That's how I view it. It's a non-violent demonstration. If that triggers you, then you don't know the fucking Constitution worth a damn. You don't know the Constitution. You don't know the Bill of Rights. And you don't know international law either, because if you fucking did, if you actually read the Geneva Conventions, how hard is it for the President of the United States to get the Constitution and the Geneva Conventions up on his desk? It would probably take a matter of minutes, a matter of fucking minutes, to get those two documents on your fucking desk. Because you're the President. You have access to the Library of Congress and some of the greatest archives ever. And yet you are completely clueless. I'm telling you, man. And then, of course, he militarized the police even more. Not surprising. We're going to be living in a goddamn police state within a matter of fucking years. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The way this shit's going with Trump, with how he is the nationalist. Mark my fucking words, my friends. People like Trump, how fascism starts is that it doesn't start off right in your fucking face. It has to be eased in to a democratic government. That is how evil comes in. It's gradually eased in. It has already gradually been eased in to some extent. Oy vey. This is a bit of a rambling Trump rant, but I had to get it off my chest. I don't think I'm going to try to monetize these videos anymore, because it doesn't do fucking shit for the channel. You know, YouTube's going on its fucking demonetization shit, you know, with political videos. So, it's too much of a fucking headache. I had to get this off my fucking chest. Live long and prosper and have a nice day.